All right. Welcome back. Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. We're getting into a breakfast draft. 9:30 a.m. where I'm at. Haven't even had my breakfast yet, so we're doing a fantasy football draft for breakfast. This is 87% full already. You can't see it right now, but the puppy draft is already 87% full. I know you've heard this before, but I'm going to go ahead and say it now. If you want to get into some of these drafts before they fill up, go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Your first deposit from $10 to $100 will get matched at 100%. So if you put in $100, they will put in another $100 in that same second, and then you can get into 40 puppy drafts, 8 best ball manias, etc., etc. Now, the puppy draft 2 is what we're doing now. There was a puppy draft, there was a puppy superflex draft, and now there's the puppy 2 draft. Once this fills up, there will be another puppy draft that comes out. It's just a matter of when they put it out. Sometimes they wait a few days. Sometimes they even wait up to a week. I'm not too sure why they wait, and to be honest with you, I think as the season comes closer and closer, they're not gonna wait as long. It's really just wasting money for them because if there's a puppy draft up, people will enter it, and the puppy draft is so much more enticing than 12-man leagues. So even if this fills up, that's not the end-all, be-all. There will be another opportunity to get into some more. So go ahead and sign up for Underdog Fantasy. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that as well. You can get into some drafts with us, and you can hop in the live chat when we are live. So it looks like we're picking here at pick 8 overall. We have some experience badges in here as well, so probably not going to have a whole lot of crazy value falling to us. So we really should pick a strategy here and try it out. I'm just trying to think of what we want to do, and maybe we'll let our first pick decide what our strategy is going to be for this draft. But I do want to try something different. Well, not different, but being that we have 2 experience badges and then a super experience badge, we're not going to build a unique team based off of values falling, so we're going to have to do it in a different way. And we'll kind of decide that as we go. But pick 8 overall is a really good spot. I think in the first round, you can get someone falling to you. Really, at pick 8, you're looking for Austin Eckler to fall to you. If not, I'm probably looking at a Stephon Diggs, to be honest with you. I already picked the team this morning, and that was also a Stephon Diggs team. Let's see if we can go here real quick. Throw it up while we're... This is risky. No Taziki. All right, this is the team we drafted earlier this morning. Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott at quarterback. Travis Etienne, Zeke stacked with Dak. Ronald Jones stacked with Patrick Mahomes. Rashad White, Tyler Algier. Wide receivers are Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb stacked with Dak. Chris Godwin, DeAndre Hopkins, Sky Moore stacked with Patrick Mahomes. Jamison Crowder, AJ Green, James Washington stacked with Dak. Pat Freiermuth, David Njoku, and Austin Hooper at... Wow. Cooper Kupp fell to 4. Okay, that's not too crazy. Derrick Henry goes. Austin Eckler and Jamar Chase both still on the board. We're really hoping for either of these next 2 teams to go someone other than Austin Eckler. If they go Austin Eckler, we're just going to go ahead and grab Stephon Diggs again. But we'll see. They go Austin Eckler, so we'll do Stephon Diggs again. We'll do another team. I have a pretty low exposure relative. Let's see. OBJ is still my highest percentage. I must have drafted a shit ton of OBJ early. That's crazy. Is this what is this for? All drafts. Okay. So what do I have? Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is only 8%. Yeah, so our Stephon Diggs exposure is very low. So I'm okay going with him here. I'm surprised Josh Jacobs isn't my most drafted player. OBJ I stopped drafting a while ago. So that shows you how much I was drafting him earlier on, which was pretty much every single pick. I mean, every single draft we were going with. OBJ. He just tweeted something out how he's ready for the season, whatever. I'm not getting excited about him. Pick 17. I want to see what this looks like on the big board. Nothing really falling to us if we're going to be honest. DeAndre Swift goes. Aaron Jones or Saquon Barkley is here. We could probably go Debo here if we wanted to. Debo or Saquon. We're not gonna get too crazy. We'll go Aaron Jones here. We don't really have a whole lot of exposure to Aaron Jones either, and being that he might be the number one receiving option for Aaron Rodgers in this next season, we're going for the upside in the receiving game, picking Aaron Jones there. And to be honest with you, I'm not super excited about Debo this year, so I'm okay passing on Debo. I was originally gonna say I was gonna go like a super wide receiver heavy build, which is still in the range of possibilities. But when Aaron Jones is there and the next best wide receiver is Debo Samuel, I'm going to go ahead and grab Aaron Jones, who is basically a wide receiver anyways. And that'll also set us up for a potential stack with Aaron Rodgers at pick 106. I don't know where we draft relative to that. We're at 104. Maybe we reach on him depending on what our quarterback room looks like at that moment. But maybe we try to get him at pick 113, which might not happen, but I don't love reaching on really any quarterbacks, to be honest with you. I think a lot of times quarterbacks fall. You can get values, so reach on the quarterback is almost like a wasted pick because there is a team out there that didn't draft, let's say, Aaron Rodgers at 104 and got him at 113. So then you waste your 104 pick on Aaron Rodgers. You're going up against a team that has Aaron Rodgers and a better pick than what you would have in this later round. So I don't really like reaching on quarterbacks necessarily, although I do have to reach on Dak Prescott quite a bit if I'm trying to get the stack. Because for whatever reason, he doesn't fall below his ADP a whole lot. Or even to his ADP. That might be the first time. Wow, this is interesting. Okay, so we might get some value falling to us. If you look here, Kyle Pitts and Michael Pittman both go in the second round. That's very rare. So that's going to push some names down the board to us, hopefully. We still have about, 6 picks until us. So that value might get eaten up here in the next 6 picks. But this is at least giving us a chance to grab someone of value at our pick. And this is what I'm talking about. We're just letting the draft room decide this for us. Because if you look right here, like, he does go Michael Pittman, but then he ends up taking Tyreek Hill in the third anyways. So even though Michael Pittman is the one he picked in round 2, if these were flipped, there would be nothing too crazy about this with Tyreek Hill going at the 23rd pick and Michael Pittman going at the 26th. So even though it looks like there's value since you see Michael Pittman here, he really just self-corrects and eats up the value already. Now, I will say James Conner is going earlier and earlier. He was going at the late 3rd, early 4th for a while, and now I've been seeing him going up in this early 3rd round range, and also I saw him go in the 2nd round earlier today. So that's some more value that might get pushed on the board. Travis Etienne goes very early. He's getting pushed up the board. So we might be able to capitalize on this and grab like an A.J. Brown here this late. Although oh, shit. Oh, this is rough. I really should go A.J. Brown right here. I'm not going to say I should. I really want to go A.J. Brown right here, but I can't pass up the Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen stack. We're going to go with Josh Allen here. I don't usually get the Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs stack a whole lot, so this guy's feeling pretty good about scooping A.J. Brown. That kind of hurts to let him go, but it is what it is. We're gonna be picking here at pick 41, which you can already see what might line up, unless Alvin Kamara or Cortland Sutton falls. We're going to go with an early double stack in Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs. That is extremely rich in the Buffalo Bills offense, but it is one of the best offenses in the entire league. So it could work out. I've never done that. So I do want to try and go with that. But if we get Alvin Kamara, I might pass on Gabe Davis. Alvin Kamara goes, and we're going to go ahead and go for a double stack. I think this ADP for Gabe Davis is extremely early. I think that with it being extremely early, we definitely shouldn't be reaching at all on him. But we're going to do it anyways. The Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen double stack is, I don't see it too often. So we're going to go ahead and capitalize on that. Now, it's a very rich double stack, and to have your top 2 drafted receivers both on the same team is not super comfortable for me, but it is unique. It is a little bit different. And we're going to move forward with it. I'm just trying to decide now if I want to go for a hero running back build or if I want to grab a couple more in these earlier rounds before the drop off. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet here. I think we're just going to continue to let the draft room decide where we're going. It's a very balanced start, so we're setting ourselves up to grab whatever value falls to us. We're not tied to needing any position quite yet. But I will say we're seeing running backs get pushed all the way up the board. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that, especially since we only have one running back through the first 4 rounds. And I say that, which a lot of you probably laugh at. I'm sure a lot of you go 0 running backs through the first 6 rounds a lot of the times, especially in this best ball mania or this best ball draft format. Like this guy right here. Justin Jefferson, Michael Pittman, Tyreek Hill, Deontay Johnson. All wide receivers, no running backs. This guy is one running back. I have 1. He is 0. He is 1. He is 1. So it's pretty common. But I am very, I don't, you guys know, I like going running back heavy early, even in the best ball format. So we're going to have to keep an eye on these running backs getting pushed up the board, especially when we have a team like this that has 3 already, another team that has 3, a third team that has 3. So that's going to push the running backs up the board, and we're going to have to look out for that. So although we might not find value as far as ADP goes, we're going to get to a point where we're forced to take a running back at ADP or a little bit of a reach. But I will say, when you see a position getting pushed up the board, much like we are seeing with the running back position in this draft, we don't want to chase it. We don't want to be the last one in the to the party. We're going to go ahead and keep taking the value. And then when they all are trying to catch up on the rest of their positions that they were forfeiting by going running back heavy, that's when we'll come back through and find our values at running back. So that's the strategy here. You don't want to see a run and then try to hop onto the run late. You want to see a run, take the value that falls, and then capitalize on them not being able to take values later on. So that's our strategy here. We're looking to see what Vinny Stone does. We're going to be in this range that is a little ugly. He goes DK Metcalf. Let's see what's on the board. We have Lamar Jackson, David Montgomery, Rashad Bateman, J.K. Dobbins on the board. I'm really looking at David Montgomery right here if we get him. Although I will say Lamar Jackson right there is looking a little bit enticing. I just don't know if I want to go Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. He goes Rashad Bateman. We could get Lamar at a 6-pick value. With Josh Allen, I don't think we need to go Lamar this early. So we're going to go ahead and take David Montgomery at pick 53. 3-pick value. He's going to be our second running back off the board. Dalton Schultz, what's the news? Will play under franchise tag. Saw that coming. And I think our target for this next pick is going to be Chris Godwin. That is a little bit of an ask, so we're not counting on it, but that's our target. If he goes, we'll be looking at someone like a... It's really hard to say, actually. This range is kind of an ugly range where I'm not super in love with any of these players, to be honest with you. So we're really going to look for the value falling to us here. We're gonna have to wait and see. Like I said, I would love Chris Godwin, especially since our two top wide receivers are both in Buffalo. I don't love the look of that. We are gonna need some wide receivers here, and honestly, unless we get if Chris Godwin does go, and now our next wide receiver isn't till ADP 67, so it's hard for me to pass right now. I think I want to go Josh Jacobs. Yeah, I'm gonna go Josh Jacobs here. I have such a hard time not going Josh Jacobs when you can get him. He is a bell cow running back at pick 65 on a very good offense. This year it'll be a lot better of an offense than it was previously, and when you can get him at that value, I think he's even in a better situation than David Montgomery. His offense is way better, and um he's basically doing the same exact role that David Montgomery is, and you're getting him an entire round later. So I have a hard time passing that value up. But now I think we have a or running back room where I think the strategy now is to go wide receiver. Let's see what the big board looks like. We'll probably go wide receiver for the next 4 or 5 rounds in a row. I'll say that we'll get 4 wide receivers out of the next 5 picks. And this is a strategy you see me doing a lot, grabbing an early round running back, or going kind of running back heavy in the beginning, like in the first 5 rounds, getting 2 or 3 running backs, and then just smashing wide receiver for the next 4 or 5 rounds, back to back to back to back. That's kind of the strategy I found myself going with quite a bit. And it's just a natural strategy that I've developed over the drafts. I notice I like doing that because I think there's a dead zone in wide receivers versus running back value here. So I usually go running backs, and then you can find some very competent potential, candidates that still have that high ceiling that you're getting in these later rounds. So that's why I usually like doing that strategy, and you'll probably continue to see me do it. Just because it's something that I'm comfortable with. It's something that I believe in. So unless we're trying something out a little bit different on the day, or a value's falling to us, or unless we're shaking it up for whatever reason, this is kind of our default strategy. Now, a lot of times I don't wait. I'll grab like one running back here. I'll usually do like a first and second round running back, grab a couple wide receivers in the middle here, and then get Josh Jacobs. This one's a little bit different in the fact that I got Stephon Diggs first and Josh Allen in the third, but it's still the general idea. Now that we have Josh Allen in the third, we don't even have to stop to grab a running back or a quarterback in these next 4 rounds. So it opens up the table for us to just grab a bunch of wide receivers, and then we'll worry about our second quarterback a little bit later. Because when we're drafting Josh Allen in the third round, that's kind of who we're banking on for our quarterback position, which is why we didn't grab Lamar at a 6-pick value at pick 56, because we don't need to put that much draft capital in our quarterbacks in a non-superflex league. So we're getting some wide receivers falling. No real runs we have to look at here. We see Russell Wilson. We're on the clock at pick 79. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to grab Allen Lazard, even though I'm not a huge fan of Allen Lazard. What this is going to do is open up a double stack for us with Aaron Rodgers. And now that we're developing that double stack with Aaron Jones, Allen Lazard, and Aaron Rodgers, we might reach those 2 picks on Aaron Rodgers come pick 104. We talked about it a little bit earlier, how we were not going to reach on a quarterback and how we don't really like to reach on a quarterback. But being that we just got Allen Lazard, it was really the only option for us. Aaron Rodgers goes at 106. What's our next pick? Let's see if we can we might do a little switch up on the fly. We have pick 89, and then we're going to go Aaron Rodgers. So, sorry, I'm just looking ahead to see what we're looking at. We might, we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. Because we might be in a situation to try a super stacked team with the Green Bay Packers and the Buffalo Bills, which would not be a bad starting point. I would love for this team to not go Miles Sanders right here, but he probably will. This is what you get when you get an experience badge. He knows that Miles Sanders is the guy to grab right there. So like, and that's why we look at the experience badges early, because someone that didn't have as much experience might have went a Russell Wilson or Brandon Ayuk or Marquez Valdez-Scantling, but this guy knows that he's got to grab Miles Sanders there, which was definitely the right pick. And we're gonna go ahead and just grab someone like Brandon Ayuk. Not a very exciting pick, but we do want some wide receivers here, and he will have his opportunities. Deebo Samuel does have a little bit of an injury history, as well as George Kittle. So if either one of them go down, Brandon Ayuk is a lot more valuable. I do think Brandon Ayuk is going to have his best season yet. Last season there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes in San Francisco that was a little bit wishy-washy with Brandon Ayuk, and I don't think Kyle Shanahan was too happy with him for whatever reason. I think it was an effort thing, and he was kind of put in the doghouse for the beginning of the season, and towards the end of the season, he started to produce again. He had an amazing rookie season, and his talent is there. So, he might have. He definitely has the upside. He definitely has the talent, and it looks like he's out of the doghouse now, so he might have a little bit more opportunities regardless of injury. And if there was an injury sorry, I was reading that pick. If there was an injury to either Debo or George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk is going to have an elevated role in that offense. So we'll go ahead and grab him there. And I do like how he is the second wide receiver option, whereas like an MVS was our other option. And he's probably, I think he'll be the third wide receiving option not wide receiving. He'll probably be the fourth receiving option in Kansas City by the end of the year. I think it'll go Travis Kelce, Juju Smith, and I think Sky Moore will take MVS's spot on the depth chart and bump MVS down by the end of the season. I think MVS starts above Sky Moore, but Sky Moore will surpass him before the end of the season. That's my take. So we got pick 104 coming up here. You guys know who we're looking for. Yeah, you know who we're looking for. This draft's going to get really interesting. I can't tell if I'm about to throw it or if it's going to be really good. I'm like in the middle there, which I know you know the feeling if you're watching this and you've done some of these drafts. It's kind of like these drafts are to be able to win the $75,000 first prize, you have to have everything work out. So a lot of times you're taking huge risks to make these teams happen that you want to make happen, and reaching on players that you wouldn't normally reach on, and you're kind of, I don't know, you're throwing a lot of them together on the fly and taking risks while you're doing it, which, that leads to either having a hit or miss team, which is what you want to go for. You don't want to go for a safe team that's going to come in third place in your league, because then you don't move on to the tournament anyways, and it's at the end of the day, it's just a wasted draft. So you do want to take those risks. So if the risk doesn't work out, which a lot of times it doesn't, and if the risk doesn't work out, you got to just accept that and move on, because that's how you're going to open yourself up to the upside potential with these stacks. And, that's how you get your super teams, is by taking those risks. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, Dawson Knox has fallen. Because right now we have Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis stacked with Josh Allen, and we have Allen Lazard and Aaron Jones stacked with Aaron Rodgers. What I'm debating in my head is if we want to go with a Dawson Knox stack with Josh Allen, or if we want to go for a Christian Watson stack with Aaron Rodgers. Because we are kind of doing that super stack league, if you haven't been able to tell quite yet. I believe that all of the Buffalo running backs are off the board. Dawson Knox goes, so that makes it easy on us. We're gonna go ahead and even though we probably, as far as team construction goes, Melvin Gordon would probably be more valuable positional. But we're already this far in a super stack team. We haven't done one yet, and we've been requested to do one. And I'm a little bit interested. I talk about this on the channel quite a bit, but I like to have a very diverse portfolio in my fantasy football teams. I have about 77 teams at this point in best ball drafts, and I don't want to do the same strategy every single time. And we talked a little bit earlier about what my go-to strategy is, but I like to diversify the types of players I draft as well as the strategies so that when I look back at the end of the year on all of my teams, I can see where those trends lie and what teams, what players, and what strategies work the best so that come next year, what is it? I guess like next June, July, we'll have all the data to look at, and then we'll go back through and just replicate the most successful teams to the best of our ability. And we don't have a super stack team quite yet, until now, I should say. Because right now we have Josh Allen, Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs stacked, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Allen Lazard, Christian Watson, triple stack. So we are definitely going down the road of a super stack team. We can go ahead and look ahead now that we know what we're doing here and see that we have pick 128 and 137 coming up on the horizon. So we can look ahead into this range. Which, what did I say? 127, 128, 137. Oh my God. Oh man. I mean, if we're sending it, I guess we have to send it, huh? I don't think there's really anyone else on the Packers worth grabbing. But I think at pick 138, we can grab Jamison Crowder and go for that triple stack. Then we'll have two triple stacks, which is a little bit interesting. Oh, my God. And then, oh, my God. Wait, where is Robert Tonyan at 149? Oh, God. Yeah, I can't take him. I got to just hope he falls to 152. 128, it looks like is free for us to pick whoever we see fit. So, who do we need? Rondale Moore would be a good pick if he falls. I'm assuming he won't fall another two picks. We could just go with a tight end here and try to pair him with Robert Tonyan later on. But if Rondale Moore's available, we'll go ahead and grab him. I do think we need some more running backs here. Rondale Moore goes. So let's use this opportunity to grab a running back, actually. Who do we want? We'll grab Ronald Jones. I really do like Ronald Jones in Kansas City. I think that's what they need. When they would get to the goal line, they couldn't do anything. They basically had to give it to Travis Kelce to run it in himself because, CEH is not a goal line back. And who else do they have? Jerick McKinnon and Darrell Williams, which Darrell Williams was the closest thing they had to a goal line back, but Ronald Jones will bring more of a traditional back feel to that offense, which is really the only thing they were missing. Now, I'm curious to see how the new receiving core works out there. I'm sure it'll be fine just because Patrick Mahomes is leading it and Andy Reid is the head coach. So I'm sure they're going to figure it out, and they wouldn't have made the Tyreek trade or really any of the trades for that matter if they weren't comfortable with who they could replace him with. But I will say that Ronald Jones fits that offense very well, and I think that it brings a dimension to their offense that they didn't have previously, and I could see him taking the leading role at running back by the end of the year, and running with that. So we do have Jamison Crowder here. We have a value at Irv Smith that fell to us pretty far, so we really should take him. And this might be where we veer from our strategy. We're gonna veer from our strategy. I feel like if I go Jamison Crowder there, I'm just blindly trying to stack players. Uh, Irv Smith, I think, has extreme potential, and him falling 15 picks, I can't just blindly pass that up, especially when I have 0 tight ends and already have a double stack in Buffalo and a triple stack in Green Bay. I know I'm disappointing those people that were looking for the super stack team. And I still think we fall under that category, to be honest with you, because we do have multiple triple stacks, and we're going to try to grab Robert Tunyon in the spirit of the video. But when Irv Smith falls that far, I'm not going to pass him up to grab a third Buffalo receiving option. I just can't do it. But that being said, I will grab Robert Tunyon if he's available. And that will create a quadruple stack in Green Bay and will give us all upside that team has to offer. All of it. Aaron Rodgers, Allen Lazard, Christian Watson, Aaron Jones, and Robert Tunyon would be absolutely nuts. We don't know if Robert Tunyon's actually going to fall to us. It's very possible he goes off the board, being that he is the next up tight end in value, and we are banking on him falling, like 5 picks to us? No, only 3 picks, but it is possible he goes, which would be fine. And we really do need to start hammering these wide receivers again. We really need to start hammering these wide receivers. Robert Tunyon does go. Might be for the best, to be honest with you. Might be for the best. We're almost hoping that Isaiah Spiller gets taken here in the next 2 picks. If he does not get taken, we're going to have to take him. We should be taking a wide receiver here in Van Jefferson, but if he goes Van Jefferson, and we're going to go ahead and take Isaiah Spiller at a, what is that, 6-18 pick value? I mean, can't pass that up. But our wide receiver core is looking a little bit rough, and we're gonna need. Let me go back and look where I said I was gonna take all wide receivers. I said it right after Josh Jacobs. I said the next 5 rounds we're gonna pick 4 out of 5 players in the wide receiver position, and we went 3 of 5. 2 of them being Green Bay Packer wide receivers. So we lied. We went way more running back heavy than we originally anticipated, but we had to switch up in strategy right around this Allen Lazard pick. So that was the idea there, and we really kind of switched gears. But we do need to try to make up some value at the wide receiver position, because our wide receivers are much to be desired. I will say any production that comes out of the Buffalo Bills or Green Bay Packers passing game, we will have a piece of. So that is something that we can hang our hat on. And so we're basically having a guaranteed high score for all weeks at the wide receiver position in 2 spots other than weeks 7 and 14. And that's kind of the issue when you do this strategy as well. is your bye weeks line up poorly. So I think we're in a position where we basically have to take Corey Davis. So we're gonna go ahead and take him. And this is what I'm doing right now is kind of the reason why I don't necessarily love doing the builds where you defer a position for a very long time, just because I don't like being in situations where I feel like I have to take a certain position. Like I don't like having so many running backs that I feel like I'm catching up on wide receivers, for example, and then I have to pass up uh, values when they fall to me because I've decided to do a certain strategy. That's why I'm not super comfortable with it. But at the same time, we do like to have a diverse portfolio when it comes to strategies and players. So that's the idea. And when you do drafts like this, you sit there and feel a little bit more uncomfortable than you would going with the build that you're used to. But that's kind of the whole idea. If you're feeling comfortable about it, that means you're not switching it up enough. When you're on, if you're doing 5 drafts, just do them. Just pick the players you like. But if you're doing 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100, like if you're doing a bunch of drafts, just say screw it sometimes and grab some players you wouldn't normally grab and make some teams you wouldn't normally make. Because A, it's a little bit of fun, and B, I do think that there's a strategic advantage there in doing something like that. So just something to think about. Just something to think about. Quarterbacks are falling far. Our next pick is 176 and 185. We have 4 more picks. We're going to end up with 2538. 2583. That's the strategy here. We're not really interested in going Sammy Watkins. Not interested in going Sammy Watkins. I was interested in doing the double stack with Robert Tonyan, but Sammy Watkins, I think I need to go away from grabbing Packers at this point. George Pickens unfortunately goes. Yeah, the end of this the end of this draft is looking a little bit rough. Our wide receivers are honestly the ones slacking because I don't see you're not going to see both Allen Lazard and Christian Watson and then Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. You're not going to see all 4 of them pop off every week. So it's usually I feel like we're getting one or the other. So you can almost count them as one player. And so we have 2 starting wide receivers, if you think about it like that. And then our next 2 are Brandon Ayuk and Corey Davis, which that's not super enticing. I'm not going to lie. That's not super enticing. And when our next wide receiver on the board that we have an opportunity to grab is Paris Campbell, that's rough. That's rough. And that's why we don't normally go down this route. But I will say this definitely can work. This definitely can work, especially since the super stacks that we've developed are teams that are highly efficient on offense and led by some of the best quarterbacks in the league. Probably the number 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 quarterbacks in the entire NFL, and we have basically their entire offenses. So that is the case to be made for these super stack teams, and we've kind of been on a stack happy kick these last couple of videos, which is kind of cool. It does give us some really solid correlations to analyze a little bit later when the season's over. And I really am this is a team I'll probably keep my eye on because it's a very, very unique team to have 2 of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league and their entire offenses. So I don't know how that'll correlate in a best ball draft format or even just in any draft. You would never do this build in a redraft league. In best ball mania or in best ball formats, it definitely can work out. But I've never done best ball first of all, and I've definitely never done a super stack team like this. So this is a little bit interesting, and I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on this team. But that all being said, I think that we should take our shot on wide receivers here. It's just a matter of who we want to go with. We're at pick 184 or 185. I'm between KJ Hamler and Will Fuller. We're going to go Will Fuller here. I just think he has a higher ceiling. He has a lot more unknown. But if he does join a team soon and is a serviceable player that gives us 6 weeks, I think he will be extremely productive in those weeks that he does play. And being that we are kind of playing catch up at the wide receiver position, I do like to take the option that has a higher ceiling between KJ Hamler and Will Fuller. So that was a strategy with that pick. But that being said, we are looking. See, like, who do we even want here as our next wide receiver? I don't think our wide receivers are bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that week 7 and 14, we're going to have a hard time. Now, if KJ Hamler is still available at pick 200, we definitely will take him there. There he goes. So at this point, we're either looking for David Bell or AJ Green. What's our next picks? 200 and 209. Okay, so we have 2 more picks. AJ Green would give us some early season production, which would allow Christian Watson and Will Fuller to kind of get up to speed. But that being said, we don't have very many players in our wide receiver position that need a whole lot of time in the beginning of the season. So I don't know if early production is what we're chasing here, as opposed to some teams where we go rookie heavy or grab the players that are injured for the beginning of the season, like a DeAndre Hopkins, or, well, he's not injured, but that are going to miss a beginning of the season, like DeAndre Hopkins, Chris Godwin. We usually like to pair those players up with players like AJ Green later in the draft that will produce early, but we're not necessarily in that position right now. So I might be looking to go with someone a little bit different. Because who do we say we had? 200 and 209. Oh my God. These tight ends are flying. This is kind of crazy. When did Braven Jordan go? Wow. I've never seen Braven Jordan go in the 16th round. That is early. Since the tight ends got pushed up as far as they did, we're going to grab Logan Thomas because he's basically the only other tight end worth grabbing. So we'll grab him before there's a huge drop off. And then we're going to look to grab John Mechie as our last pick. The wide receivers, or the amount of wide receivers in the teams ahead of us, are 8, 6, 7, 6, 6, 7, 7, 6, 8. So yeah, probably going to have some wide receivers going off the board here. But we do have a few ahead of us before John Mechie. So I think we should be able to grab him. I think John Mechie has the highest ceiling out of these players that are left at the wide receiver position. And being that we have mostly vets ahead of him, I think we're going to be able to go ahead and go with that rookie chasing the late season production. Because if we have John Mechie coming in and developing into a Brandon Ayuk type production by the end of the season, which is very possible being that he was such a high draft pick, and he will be probably the number 1B receiver on that offense in Houston, aside from Brandon Cooks at the 1A. I think he has the potential to come in and be a very good option. He has a ceiling to kind of counter the wide receiver room that we have so far. Not that our wide receiver room is bad. It's just when you have that many players, we have 4 players in our wide receiver room and 4 of our top 5 receivers in 2 offenses, which kind of limits our ceiling. So to combat that, we're going to chase the ceiling on John Mechie. And I think he has a lot higher ceiling than a AJ Green, Isaiah McKenzie, Terrace Marshall. David Bell probably has a similar ceiling, but I believe in the quarterback play with John Mechie over the quarterback play with David Bell being Jacoby Brissett. So we have our final team, and we're going to go ahead and recap that now. It's very interesting. It's very different. We have a couple double stacks and we have 1 double and 1 triple. So the recap here. We have some very interesting teams here. Okay. So our team is as follows: Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is stacked with Aaron Jones at running back. We have David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, Ronald Jones, and Isaiah Spiller at the running back position. At wide receiver, we have Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis double stacked with Josh Allen. We have Alan Lazard and Christian Watson triple stacked with Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers. We have Brandon Ayuk, Corey Davis, Will Fuller, and John Mechie to finish out our wide receiver room. And then our tight ends go Irv Smith, Evan Ingram, and Logan Thomas. So a very interesting team. We have a lot of Packers. We have a lot of Bills, which I think could definitely work out if we have players stepping up in Brandon Ayuk, Corey Davis, and John Mechie. And then if something happens with Will Fuller and he joins a team and gives us 6 solid weeks, this team will be looking very good. So that is the gist of this team. That's the recap. Very interesting. Tell me what you guys think below. So go ahead and throw in the comments how you feel about this. I think this is kind of an in-between of a super stack and a normal double stack team. It's a little heavier in the correlation category than a traditional just stacked team would be, but I don't think it has enough correlation to be quote unquote a super stack. I think if we got like a Robert Tonyan and Dawson Knox, then maybe that would be more of like the super stack, like a true super stack. But tell me what you guys think about this team. I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say. So throw that in the comments, and we're usually pretty responsive. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you can see when we are live, because then we can get into drafts together and have some conversation in the live chat and kind of bounce some ideas off of, have another set of eyes to bounce our opinions off of. So go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate you guys viewing this channel. The channel has been doing really well lately, and we've been getting a lot more traction than we had. We've really just been grinding. We love doing these drafts on Underdog Fantasy. If you want to be a part of it, go on there and use code. I always promote Underdog Fantasy and not myself. So Underdog Fantasy, your first deposit from $10 to $100 gets matched. We went over that, but what I forgot to say is use code FFX54 in checkout. There will be a little spot where you can put a code to of a friend that referred you or referred, whatever. Use code FFX54. That helps me out, takes nothing away from you guys, allows me to get into a couple more of these drafts. So go ahead and support the channel. Get into some of these drafts. They're a lot of fun. If you missed the Puppy 2 draft, don't fret. They're going to come out with another Puppy 3. You can see it here. We have the Puppy 1, Puppy 2, and then there was a Puppy Superflex back here as well. So we had 16 entrants in the Superflex, 24 in the Puppy, 14 in the Puppy 2. We're going to try to get a couple more teams going today. We might even get a second video up today. We'll have to wait and see. But again, I appreciate you guys coming out. I appreciate you guys giving support. Let me know what you think about this team and give me any further suggestions as far as potential strategies you want me to try, as well as the order in which you're interested to see my overall positional rankings come out, because we're going to start developing those videos here in the next few days. So thank you, everyone, to supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. And until either later today or tomorrow, I will see you guys. Have a great Saturday. Peace out.